like Lewis went first, has I believe there's a Grim Lavamancer in play against Steven's Valakut, and is that another Mountain?
Yep, Valakut Mountain in play for Steven Mann, Lewis Walker, pair of mismatched Zendikar lands, and
he goes for the third. Wow, three different Zendikar lands here. He is his deck is quite quite the mishmash of different things. Goblin Guides and Inferno Titans and 3 different land pictures.
I think if he plays the fourth one, he has an Exodia, right?
I think that's how it works.
So drop Steven Mann to 19.
So here, Lewis with 3 land and just a Grim Lavamancer to speak of.
And 4 is down for Steven Mann, so he could potentially cast Rampant Growth, Explore, Cultivate. Cultivate is a card that a lot of the Valakut decks have cut due to cards like Spell Pierce and such, but Steven Mann has 3 of them.
And he is casting it right now.
1 into hand.
He goes for a Mountain to the grip and a Force to play, I would imagine.
Yeah. Cultivate, doing what Cultivate does. We saw it doing this time last year also, and one of its last opportunities to, and it's doing it yet again.
Valakut was really the big deck last year going into the World Championships, in no small part due to Jerry Thompson's win at the Star City Games Invitational with Valakut just the week before.
Yeah. And look, despite only 20 lands, there's line number 4 for Lewis Walker.
So I'm guessing this probably means, it means either Koth of the Hammer or Hero of Oxid Ridge. He actually has both of them. And wow, a totally new full art land from a completely different set. I wonder if he just has 14 different lands in his deck.
It's actually kind of awesome.
See, if you did that, if it was very purposefully 14 different mountains, I could appreciate it.
They're all like pretty mountains, right? Like we've seen Unhinged,
right.
like Zendikar, like Unglued, I'm sure is next, followed by like
Hero. I need a hero. Comes in for 6 damage, 4 from the hero, 1 from the Lavamancer itself, and 1 from the Battle Cry on the Lavamancer, giving it up to 2 power. So Steven Mann is down to 10 life.
Easily dead next turn.
He does have those lightning bolts that we talked about a little while ago that could easily take down Hero of Oxid Ridge and make this much less impressive assault from Lewis Walker.
Yeah, I can't quite tell what Lewis is gripping either. He's got 3 cards back, but
I can't imagine many more of them are land.
I was gonna say I thought I saw a couple more lands, but
maybe they are. I don't know.
And,
then he could play an Inferno Titan.
If you can play the 16 Lord, 16 land Merfolk deck, you can play the 20 land red deck.
It's true. It's true. All right, so it looks like this is probably another Cultivate for 3 mana. Oh no, this is Explore for 2 mana.
Go Sword Sojourning a little bit.
So Steven,
looks like he's got 2 more Explorers.
He can find out a whole lot about this world.
And one thing he's going to find out is if he doesn't deal with that hero, he's dead very fast.
Yeah, these are the discoveries we all must make.
Go on a walk of fire. Safety not guaranteed. Alright, Explore number 2. He needs to find Lightning Bolt right here. I don't think he plucked Lightning Bolt.
So not quite dead yet, but very, very close if those 2 creatures connect again.
All right, so he can play a grip full of lands, but I presume Steven's thinking Lewis has got to have burn spells in his hand.
Or another haste creature or anything.
Yeah,
I mean, any of these things kill him.
No, like...
one thing that we've seen out of Valakut decks recently is that many of them, because of the popularity of Dismember, have cut Overgrown Battlement.
Yes.
So they're much more vulnerable to creature-based assaults like this one. Though Overgrown Battlement would be doing very little blocking when a hero's around.
It's true. Heroes that don't deal with battlements. That's what the horse is for. Hop right over them. Steven's taking a long time to figure out what lands he wants to play for a man who doesn't seem to have much action.
He may be trying to figure out if he can play. What are the odds of him drawing something he needs to draw? I don't know. I can't really see what else he has.
Another Explorer.
It does look like another Explorer.
So we go like land, Explore.
He may be trying to figure out if he can afford to crack a fetch land.
Sure.
I think I see a Misty Rainforest in his hand.
Calm the Heart Expedition. Okay.
Okay.
Misty Rainforest. It's a counter on the Expedition. And shift.
I would be shocked if he lives to crack that Expedition.
Likewise.
But no, actually,
There's
it's
like
land
two or
in
three
his hand.
more lands in there. All right, cracking Scalding Tarn.
Is this Urabrosk?
That'd be a way to end this game in style.
That would be very stylish. Urabrosk is a stylish gentleman.
See the 8th edition Shatter hiding at the bottom of Lewis Walker's deck. Not the card you want to see in this matchup.
Or maybe it's just a Kicks Burst Lightning. I did see Burst Lightning in his hand, so
Oh, well.
this is just the game.
Give him brief glimmer of hope.
Or you just cast. Oh, okay, he's actually tapping all 5. So
All right, Burst
you.
Lightning, yeah.
All right, so that's game. So Lewis Walker takes the first game with his little and big red deck. And let's check out the sideboards. How do you think these players are going to sideboard?
Oh, Mana Barbs is certainly one of the big cards here. I think.
Mana Barbs is definitely very powerful. I think Torpor Orb and Active Aggression and Tunnel Ignis
Tunnel
are all
Ignis
pretty
also a
attractive.
big card. We've got plenty of cards to Lewis Walker's decks we can take out. Notably, the Shatters are getting out of there.
Those Shatters are not too exciting here. And I think he probably, the Grim Lavamancers are pretty unimpressive. Shrine is relatively unimpressive.
I mean, I think you can also cut some of your top end. Inferno Titan.
Right, I wouldn't want to have Inferno Titan in my deck against a Valakut deck because they're definitely going much bigger than you are. Stephen Mann has the fairly straightforward 4 Obstinate Ballasts that come in just about any green deck in this format.
Yep, so the ballasts are going to come in. It's possible he might bring in 1 Nature's Claim to help fight Shrine of Burning Rage if he thinks that's going to be an issue.
Well, he didn't see Shrine out of Lewis in that game.
Sure.
And Shrine is actually very slow in this sort of matchup, and the Valakut deck isn't one that takes a long time to kill you. The Valakut deck either gets online and does its thing or doesn't in a lot of situations. And the Shrine, I mean, this is entirely possible I'm wrong because I haven't really played this matchup very much, but it seems like Shrine is a relatively slow card for this sort of matchup.
What do you think about Pyroclasm?
Pyroclasm, I mean, he did see Hero out of Lewis's deck, so he likely expects that his opponent has a reasonable amount of creatures. You generally don't see Hero in decks that are particularly creature light. So Pyroclasm I think is a very reasonable inclusion as well.
Yeah, so I like Pyroclasm here. I like Baelith here. Bring those in for Steven. Maybe cut. Maybe cut some of the top end cards he doesn't need, like Inferno Titan. Maybe shave a couple of those.
I think Oracle's a card that I can see going out.
For sure.
Summoning Trap is a card I can see going out.
It's possible maybe you don't want one of your ramp spells. Like maybe you don't need Cultivates.
Maybe. It's
But you're not bringing that many cards. So,
you have 4 cost cards to bring in. The Obstinate Ballasts, are something you generally rather cast an Oracle of Moldiah on those turns.
Yeah.
And I can certainly see taking out maybe not all your Summoning Traps, just because you want to have a certain density of relatively large threats. He doesn't have Green Sun Zenith, so without Summoning Trap, he has to draw his Primeval Titan and his Verdant Titan to be able to really do much of anything.
Yeah, who do you think is favored after sideboarding here? Do you think the red deck has the edge, or?
I think, I mean, Valakut in general, I think is usually much better after sideboarding than before sideboarding against red. I mean, Opposite Ballast is a huge game. I mean, it's difficult to say with Lewis's build because he is very unorthodox in a lot of his card choices. He has a lot of the sort of mid to high end cards that the other red decks generally don't play that many of, and he has a lot of possible sideboard action here. He has Tunnel Ignis, he has Mana Barbs, and he has Active Aggression, all of which are very powerful. Torpor Orb too. I mean, Torpor Orb is a card when Ben Sek was playing mono red at the Grand Prix in Philadelphia, he very narrowly missed making top 8, and he was boarding in Torpor Orb against just about any deck with green. Just because even just shutting off Obstinate Ballast can be absolutely huge.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and there's actually quite a few cards in the Lewis Walker sideboard. Once again, Tunnel Ignis could be gigantic if Steven doesn't have Pyroclasm or Bolts. A lot of interesting things going on here.
So it looks like Steven's looking very unhappily at his opening hand, shaking his head. Why me? Why me?
The plight of the Valakut player. Sometimes you have it, and sometimes you have nothing.
It's the sort of deck that, you know, the Valakut is a deck that does one thing. It does one thing, you know, well, but when you know, the cards just don't come together, they just don't come together. You don't have a backup plan. You know, it's not like you're playing a deck that, you know, with Caw-Blade that, you know, you don't draw your Hawks, you can just play a Jace. You don't draw, you know, your Jace, you can, you know, just play a Gideon. You know, there's lots of different angles of approach you can have. Valakut's a deck that plays Titan. That's it. That's all they do.
It looks like Steven's going to ship those cards back for 6 new ones.
Those 7 cards did not seem well set up to play Titan.
Going to Paris, but not the way you want to go there. And it seems like Lewis kept his hands. So he probably has lands and what he's looking for. See how it treats him. If you're Steven and you're going down to 6 cards, I mean, obviously you could have like the awesome ramp hand, but really you do get a little more play after sideboarding because you could have, you know, a Pyroclasm hand. You can take a little bit of time to set up.
I mean, Obstinate Baloth does give you sort of a plan B, a bit of a plan B against the red decks. You can't rely on just Baloth to win because, you know, they have, you know, a lot of things like, you know, Hero Boxes, Richard. They can crack into a Baloth and you know, you're forced to trade.
Right.
But it can definitely buy you a lot of time, and you know that time can be used to play a Titan, which is, you know, Plan A.
And here we go. Terramorphic Expanse for Stephen Mann. Scalding Tarn for Lewis Walker. And I caught a quick glimpse of Steven's hand. It did not look that impressive. I saw like a bunch of lands and not much action. And maybe just 2 or 3 lands, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like 2 Valakuts, maybe another mountain. See if Lewis Walker has the infamous Turn 1 Goblin Guide.
Well, he cracked right away and then said go.
Lewis Walker pulling the nice double fake here with the Merfolk sleeves on his mono red deck.
So Stephen Mann fetches a Forest.
And draws a Pyroclasm. Okay, has a little bit of play. So Lewis just cracks and fetch land, says go. Steven goes for Rampant Growth, so he's got a way to get up to land number 3 and land number 4 on the next turn.
Actually, just got a message from someone who I assume knows Mr. Mann, who said it's Steve Mann, not Steven. So,
all right, well, we'll make sure to call him Steve. Steve.
So, Lewis Walker has no turn 2 play either. It looks like he's just adding up to 20 in his hand.
It actually looks like he was adding up to 20.
Yeah, he actually just sort of pointing at one card. Okay, 3. It's kind of hard to get to 20 from 2 land.
And to incinerate you have to be pretty terrified.
It begins.
Like, and end step, incinerate you.
That's a Tunnel Ignis.
All right, that's a pretty reasonable card to draw.
It looked like Steve Mann had a Lightning Bolt in his hand, so Tunnel
definitely had a Pyroclasm.
Can't really do that much damage. I think Lewis Walker wants to play the Chandra's Phoenix here, though. It just gives him a much more efficient use of his mana.
Oh,
I think I saw Chandra's Phoenix. Ooh, they really are all different. I haven't seen 2 land that were actually the same just yet.
Taps 2, down comes Tunnel Ignis.
There is a Tunnel Ignis. Thought I saw a Chandra's Phoenix. He does have a Chandra's Phoenix in hand and chooses to play the Tunnel Ignis instead.
All right, just let
Steve does not Lightning Bolt it. Maybe he's Pyroclasming it.
Yeah, he's got Clasm.
Just using his mana as efficiently as possible if he is Clasming and playing a ramp spell this turn. It looked like he drew a Titan. I thought I saw a Titan.
Yeah, he has an Inferno Titan in his hands, for sure. Things are about to get a little hot in here.
So Steven at a still pretty comfortable 17 life. But Tunnel Ignis can take pretty big chunks out of that if he doesn't kill it right away.
Yeah, I imagine Steven's just jam that.
Does he have more land in his hand? I thought we saw a land full hand for him.
Yeah, but, I did. It's possible.
Maybe it was just those 4. I mean, it was his opener, so. He may have just not drawn a land since then.
It's pretty unlikely, but not impossible.
I mean, Valakut decks tend to play a lot of land. He
10,
has
16, 19, 20. Looks like 26 or 27 lands.
yeah, 28.
28
He
lands.
has 28 lands. So.
No fooling.
Bolt
All right, so
you.
Pyroclasm. Man, that's just got to be terrifying. Incinerate you, bolt you.
I mean, you're not the red deck's not going to win by bolting Titans. So they just, you got mana, you got to use it. So it looks like Lewis has another land. So
Scalding Tarn. And then grabs. All right, he does have more.
All
than one
right, so
Steven.
that's is it?
No,
because
it's
that one's
not.
foil. That one's non-foil.
The other one's foil. All right,
Yeah,
fair.
they are different. They are different.
Grabs different ones for different occasions. Let's see. Picks up sand. Trying to see what else is in there. Is that a Goblin Guide at the top?
I think it was. So
We see Koth maybe or Hero. All right,
Koth. So Koth is pretty scary here. Koth lets him. So he's untapping and he's minusing it. Oh wow.
Koth into Hero. That puts 10 damage on the board. That's lethal next turn.
That's pretty interesting because, I mean, he could have just played Koth and sent the Mountain, which, I mean, now Steve Mann's actually in a sort of awkward spot. We know he has that Lightning Bolt, but if he doesn't Lightning Bolt, if he Lightning Bolts the Hero, then Koth sticks around and represents a lot of damage over the course of the next few turns as well.
Huh. Interesting play by Lewis Walker to go for the minus there, yeah.
I mean, the minus ability on Koth is one of the probably most underplayed abilities on a Planeswalker. You very, very rarely see it, and it's actually the right play more often than people really realize. I mean, it definitely puts people in a really tight spot. You just look at this, the minus ability there. So he takes the damage, then bolts Koth down.
Steve Mann draws his card, sitting at just 10 life, and his opponent's been
With
throwing
just
burn
4
out
mana.
of 3 more Chandra's Phoenix.
Chandra's Phoenix.
All right.
And a Goblin Guide. That's
all right. But both the hero crashing for 4. Sees not a land on top.
Is that an obstinate ballot though?
Oh, it's green creature.
It's a green creature.
With a lot of text. It's
It's
Titan or
a
Ballot.
green creature. I think that's probably a Titan. It has a whole lot of text.
I think I saw
Actually, no,
flavor text at the
Ballot
bottom.
has a lot of text too.
Yeah, I think I saw flavor text at the bottom though, which Titan has and Ballot
That's
doesn't.
true.
When nature calls, run.
It was a Titan.
Yep. And just gonna have to pass back.
And this is
Draws is trying to burning rage. And the rage begins to burn.
so
Followed by
Tunnelingness pre-combat.
Feel free to put a counter on your.
It's mandatory.
I mean,
He
it
actually
is
has
mandatory,
to.
but I mean, don't.
Yeah. So we should make sure that there's a counter on that shrine.
Yeah.
Steve Mann goes to 2 life, and
Okay, puts a counter on
cannot
the
really do much of anything here.
All right. He reaches for top of his deck in a.
But it is not balanced with a Zern Orb and Blacklist to go with it. So Lewis Walker wins the match 2-0.
Looks like we'll be seeing his big red variant in the top 8 of this tournament.
It's very possible, if his tiebreakers hold up, he will be